ready for the fight. From the court to the field, they shine so bold. With every move, the stories unfold. We're cheering on the youth from the start to the win. Giving them the mic, let their voices begin. Interviews and highlights, we got it all. GN Sports Show, where the young stand tall. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the second episode of Season 2 of the GN Sports Show. My name is Jonathan Thorogood, Administrative Assistant at GN Sports Global. Along with me is Mr. Jason Cordis, President of the GNFC Parents Association, the CGPGA, and we are your hosts of the GN Sports Show.
And as usual, we're here with another packed and exciting episode just for you guys. Today we have two of the under-7s from the GNFC Rebels, top players. We have the national netball coach and one of her star players. And we have our Varsity 9, which is our UK representative from Varsity 9. And as usual, the original funny man, Dr. Rick, at the end of the episode. So don't go anywhere. Sit back. We'll be back soon.
Our vision is to become the premier platform for showcasing and empowering young student athletes, providing them with the tools and exposure to excel both in sports and life, while shaping the next generation of confident, media-savvy leaders. The GN Sports Show is dedicated to highlighting the talent and stories of young student athletes across all sports disciplines. We aim to equip them with vital media exposure and public speaking skills, helping them grow into confident individuals both on and off the field. Through engaging interviews, mentorship, and real-world media experiences, we strive to foster personal and professional development that supports their athletic journeys.
And welcome back to the GN Sports Show. And tonight we have two of the top under-7 GNFC Rebels. What's your name? Noel Joseph and Jabari Roberts. Here at the table for us to learn a lot about them, what they like, what they don't like, what position they play. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let me get started. Noel, what school you go to?
St. Nicholas Primary School.
St. Nicholas Primary. How about you, Jabari?
St. John Catholic Primary.
St. John's Catholic Primary.
St. John's Catholic. Oh, okay.
And
you
what,
guys speak in the mics, okay?
And what grade are you in, Jabari?
Grade 1.
Grade 1.
What about you,
Grade
Noel?
2.
Grade 2. Oh, okay. What position you play?
Striker.
Yeah. You say that with confidence, boy. Striker. Jabari.
Striker.
Jabari. What position you play?
I play goalkeeper.
He say he plays striker, but guys, you see Jabari, he born and bred to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's one of the wickedest goalkeepers in under-7.
Yeah.
All right, don't undermine that. What's your favorite team?
Ronaldo's team.
Ronaldo's team. So you don't care what team it is. As long as Ronaldo playing, that's your favorite team. All right, you know. What about you? What's your favorite team, Jabari? Ronaldo team.
Yeah.
So both of you support Al Nassr then, because that's what Ronaldo plays for. Yeah? Okay, so what is your favorite team, Jabari?
My favorite team? My favorite team is Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's team?
Yeah. Al Nassr.
Al Nassr, okay, that sounds better now. So
I can't hear you all now.
you need to speak up a
I
bit.
hear when you all on the field, you all be shouting and stuff like that. So let me see. Speak up. Let me speak. So what is you have a favorite teacher?
My math teacher.
Your
Math teacher.
What's your name? Or his name?
Miss Cindy.
I can't hear you.
Miss Cindy.
Miss Cindy.
Miss Cindy. Better grades for him and maths teacher come Monday. Jabari, let me hear you. Your favorite teacher?
Miss Stacy.
Miss Stacy. What does Miss Stacy teach?
Social studies.
Social studies?
Studies.
Oh, okay.
You like social studies?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
But that's good, man. So who decided? All right, let me go with Jabari. Who made you want to play football?
My daddy.
Your dad?
Your dad used to play football?
Yeah.
Your dad was good?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Noel? Who got you into football?
My dad and my brother.
Your dad and your brother? Any one of them used to play football before?
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. Oh, your dad used to play football? He was a superstar. So you had to be a superstar too, you know. If both all your dads were superstars, that means you all have to be superstars. Because I know you're all already superstars because you will kill a man on the field with striking and you're the best goalkeeper in your age limit. So
Exactly.
you guys are striving to be superstars. All right? So it's been a pleasure having you guys here. I want you all keep doing what you're doing, Jabari. Keep doing what you're doing, Noel. Tomorrow, Saturday we have some games coming up and I know you're all going to shine just like you all do every single game. All right? So until we see you all on the pitch, thanks for coming to the GN Sports. So you had fun? You don't because you're putting up your hand and blocking your face. Everybody wants to see your face. You had fun?
Yes.
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 What about you, Jabari?
Yes.
Let me hear you. Louder.
Yes.
Yes, you had fun. You had fun, louder.
Yes.
That's right.
Good.
So until then, we'll see you guys, all right? So we'll be back after this message.
Welcome back to the GN Sports Show viewers. As you see with us, we have two young, beautiful netballers here with us. The Antigua national netball captain, Amy Lake, and along with her is a national player, Anijah Anthony. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Dudley girls.
Good evening.
So, Anijah, we'll start off with you. What inspired you to start playing netball, and how did you first get involved in the sport?
Okay, so I started playing netball from around 5. So my aunt got me involved in the community team. So I was always walking down the road to go on the court to practice with them. And that's how I basically got started in the sport.
Okay. What position you play? And what do you enjoy most about that position?
Okay, so on the national team, I play wing defense. And when I'm playing wing defense, it's like I am the person who stops that ball from getting to the goal thread. Because when it gets to the goal thread, well, it's fight or flight. So I have to get the ball, steal the ball from in the center court to carry it back up and hopefully convert it.
No, so that's a big job, a big responsibility you have there, man.
So,
Who are your biggest role models in netball, and how have they influenced your game?
okay, so my biggest role model would be Shamira Humphrey, Sterling Humphrey. I really look up to her. She is just so amazing to watch on the court. Her athleticism is really remarkable, and I hope to one day be like her.
What you would say is your most memorable experience on the court?
Okay, so I would say when I traveled to Guadeloupe with the under-21 national team, it was my first international game situation, and I remember we were up 1-1 when we were fighting for the last ball, and then the ball came into our circle and I was like, Lord, please help me do something. And I snatched the ball, I was like, yes, and then we carried the ball back up and converted it and we won.
Wow.
I was like, wow, I was so happy.
That was a very pivotal moment because you're international and here you stealing the ball that caused the winning basket. That's really good. That's a good memory to have.
Of course. And speaking about this, traveling internationally and playing for the netball team, obviously we know it's a lot. How do you balance school, training, and personal life while staying committed to netball?
Okay, so at first it was a bit of a toiling task, but after a while you kind of get into that rhythm of school, training, homework, study, then wake up in the morning, do a little exercise, then you're back at it again. And after a while you eventually get accustomed to it, so it becomes like second nature.
Like second nature. What would you say is your goal for the future in netball, both individually and as a part of a team?
Okay, so my individual goal would be to get to playing at that international level for big teams like the Thunderbirds and people like that. For in terms of a team, I would say I would like to see Antigua being more out there in terms of the international level, because as of now netball is not really recognized that well. So that would be a really good accomplishment.
If you could give any advice to younger players just starting out, what would it be?
Learn your footwork, so that's a basic thing you need to know. And just never give up, because never know where it'll take you. I mean, here on the national team, I think it's a good accomplishment, and you could be on the national team one day too.
Yeah, don't downplay yourself, girl. You know, on the national team, representing your country is a big deal.
Yep.
To a lot of people, you are a superhero to them, because a lot of kids they dream about playing for their country and representing for their country.
Yeah.
And you have left the country playing internationally. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, and it shows a testament to your motivation, all the work you put in for training and for school and stuff like that. So it's something to be proud of, and I'm sure your mom, everybody's proud of you, and the people viewing here from Antigua, they're very proud of you as well. You know what I mean? So keep doing what you're doing.
Keep pushing.
I will.
So now we're going to go over to the Antigua national netball captain, Amy Lake. Welcome again to the show.
Amy Lake.
So just to start off, what inspired you to start playing netball at such a young age, and what kept you passionate about the sport over the years?
Well, I'll have to attribute that to my sister. She was playing, and growing up watching her play, you know, everybody, we had to go and watch her play. I'm from a sporting family, so it's literally everywhere that one of the siblings are playing, I'm the last of 7, so you have to, there's a lot of sports I've been watching.
Yeah.
So we basically have to watch, and then I went and watched her. She's basically the only one that played female-wise. The other sister didn't play. So it's either that or cricket. So I gravitate to netball, and I just fell in love with it, and I've just had a passion ever since.
So you know you've captained the Antigua under 16 team when you were just 15, right?
It's just 1 year before.
When you were just
anymore.
15.
But
What was
1 year
that? What was that experience like, and how did it shape your leadership style?
It was a good experience, captaining the team. The thing is, I had already played for the under 23, so I had the experience playing already. Even though I was just 15, I played for the under 23. But then this was a little more challenging, being that I was the captain and now I had to lead. Whereas before I had others to lead me.
Yep.
I was the baby of the team, so the older ones would look out for me. Now I had to reverse the role. Even though most of the players on the team were basically the same age, I now had to be the big one.
Yeah.
Mind you, I was the small one because as I'm still small in size, I was even smaller and short. I was extremely short. I literally just shoot up like maybe when I was 17, 18, and then that was it. So it was a bit challenging, but the experience was a very good one because I think it helped me to grow as an individual too, and me learning how to play, knowing that I have to lead now. So the mental part of it had to come in because I couldn't break down and cry like how I would break down and cry because I had to show the strength for my teammates. So it was a really good learning experience for me then.
And you know, what people say, the baby has now grown up.
Yes.
No matter if she was forced to, she has now grown up.
Exactly.
So netball, you know, has evolved over the years, right?
has.
Have you adapted to it, or have you stayed in competitive and continue performing at a certain level?
No, I think you don't have a choice but to adapt because the rules change and they have changed drastically. So you really don't have a choice but to adapt. You can't stay in the old ways because then you literally won't go anywhere with the sport. But I would say that overall we have adapted. We are still adapting because a lot of the rules we're now learning, and most of it we only know when we do travel, and then you have to learn on the fly that new rule because we're not exposed like all the other countries to the game. So I would say that we've adapted very good.
And what has been your most memorable moment representing Antigua and Barbuda on the international stage?
I would have to give it to my trip to Jamaica, where we played in the qualifiers, even though we didn't qualify and we didn't have the showing that we really wanted to have. It was an experience because we got to play against the top teams. We played against Jamaica, we played against Trinidad. So it was an experience for me to actually watch myself now and see how I can play against those higher caliber of players. So it was like a test. To see can you roll with the big boys, you know, and if you can hold your own. So that for me is the best I've had.
And what do you think needs to be done to further develop netball in Antigua and Barbuda and elevate the sports profile in the region?
First, we need coaches. I'm going to tell you the most important thing is coaching. If we don't have the qualified coaches to help us achieve our goals, like for example our fitness, what do we do to get fit? It's not just simply going and you do this and this is what makes us fit. You have different ways. You have to learn your body. You have to teach the players, this worked for you, but it doesn't work for somebody else. Learn your strengths, learn your weaknesses, learn how to play as a team. The mental fitness is so important in any sport. Right. Netball is a mind game the same way as anything else. The mind play a trivial part in it. So I think we do need coaches. So we need better coaches. We need to have exposure to umpires. Better umpires here who can actually teach us the game. You can play the game, but if you don't know the rules, the proper rules, then you're playing for nothing because you think here you are playing, but then when you go overseas and you get that call, you're like, okay, what did I do? And you can't ask the umpire a question until a quarter, and a quarter is 15 minutes. So you've lost literally 15 minutes of the first quarter. You fall behind, then you try and correct it. So I think coaching, umpiring, better facilities, especially for the youths. I mean, our old people don't learn whatever we learn. But if we want the sport to go anywhere, we need to invest in the youths and find a better program for the youths growing up, especially coming out of the schools.
Yeah. Well, I think, something that Anaja tapped on and then you're saying right now, I think it's very important, especially in the Caribbean that we live, we have to start to appreciate all these sports. Because that's what we have, right? That's what we have. The United States and everybody, they capitalize on all their sports and their kids have something to grow into. And I think there's a lot in a lot of these Caribbean countries that we don't do. Like we might focus on football alone, but we have netball that is so pivotal that we can do. We focus on cricket, but netball is a big thing. Yeah,
and it is
in a lot of places,
sport.
And it's a female sport.
It is a female sport. So if you want our youths, our female youths, to be involved in something, then we do have to invest in it. They can do football, yes, but then netball is the true female sport. You don't have a lot of the females who are that physical at that young age that want to play basketball or want to play football. So we have to give our girls something to look for.
There's a lane for everybody, and we should procure this lane, every lane. And as Amy said, we asked about coaching and what you need and what you need. She said we need coaches, and I think that what she said was very eloquently put, and it had a lot of substance. So I'm saying we should get Amy to train some coaches, because what she said, it made sense, because it has a lot to do, and this is not just netball, football, cricket, everything. It's a mental thing. Sport is a mental thing, and not only thinking about it. I mean, like, you have to be in a mental space in order to focus on what you're doing. So you know what I mean. Forces that be, let me try to get Amy to coach some, train some coaches, and let's take what Dudley netball to what Dudley netball could be. That's my 2 cents.
So again, Amy and Ayre, just like to thank you again for being on the GN Sports Show. We really appreciate the time you took out to be with us here this evening. Thanks again.
It's been a pleasure. And again, I'm looking out for y'all. Amy, I'm looking for you in the coach arena.
No problem.
So just stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers, to the GN Sports Show. This is a special segment of the show where we'll be interviewing the co-founder of Soccer Assist and also scout for Varsity 9, Junior Osatutu. Welcome to the show, Junior.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we know that it's quite late over in the UK. We're just going to get straight into it. We're not going to keep you here for too long. So firstly, what inspired you to co-found Soccer Assist, and how has the company evolved since its launch?
Yeah, so I think in terms of what inspired me, it was all about our story. So I started my US journey in 2013, went across to America, and the company that sent me across over there just kind of sent me over there, and that was it, job done. And after speaking to many internationals, it was a similar situation. So myself and fellow co-founder Pharrell McLeod Bentley put a bet down, decided to start the company, and then from there it was all about helping fellow athletes that were aspiring to go to the States. And for us, it was just all about support. So making sure that the athlete was in the middle, and everything we'd done was centered around the athlete. So yeah, that's what inspired me to start the company.
So how did your own experience as a student athlete on a scholarship influence the way you develop scholarships and educational programs for young athletes?
Yeah, so I think it was just all about taking my learnings and using it to benefit others. So, for example, I transferred from one university to another, and I've done that process by myself and just kind of figured it out while going around and just kind of learning for myself. And also being in the industry 10 years, it helps me use my knowledge to help other clients and other athletes, because everyone's situation is different. Some people, education is at the forefront of what they want to do when they go to the States. Some others want to break into the professional game, and some others it's around financial requirements as well. So it's all about using the knowledge and using my experience and expertise, and also people within the company as well to support the individuals that we work with.
Junior, can you share more details about the education programs and scholarship services offered through Varsity 9 and Soccer Assist?
Yeah, so we've got a few different pathways, you can say, within our portfolio. So one of the main things we do is US scholarships, so sending athletes across to America on a scholarship to study towards a degree of their choice and play full-time soccer. On top of that, in the company, we've also got our international soccer program. So that's bringing athletes from all over the world coming across to the UK and playing football on a full-time basis. Within that program, it's a jam-packed week. They're going to be training, playing matches, workshops, one-to-one sessions, development sessions, gym sessions as well. And for us, it's all about developing the athlete while they're here with us and providing them with opportunities. On top of that, in September 2025, we'll be starting our university program as well. So internationals that are looking to come across to the UK to study, but also be a part of an elite football program, we have that opportunity available for them. And another things that the company do, so we do pro showcase tours. So to date, we've gone to Australia, America, and Dubai. And those pro showcase tours consist of 2 weeks in that country, training, trialing with professional teams, and obviously all the activities within that country as well, just kind of familiarising themselves within that new environment. And the main aim on those pro showcase tours is to be able to sign a professional contract. And then lastly, we're also FIFA licensed agents as well. So we work with professional athletes in securing them professional deals at clubs, whether they want to transfer from one club to another, whether they're looking to break into the professional game. We've got experts within the company that are able to broker those deals.
That's amazing, man. At Varsity 9 Junior, what sets your international soccer program apart from other scholarship placement services?
Yeah, I think in terms of our international program and what we do, what sets us apart, I would say, is our pathways. We have many different pathways. So when an athlete comes into our program, for us, it's all about getting to understand the athlete, understanding what success looks like. And with our portfolio of different branches, you could say, to our company, we've got pathways for them. So if they wanted to break in the professional game and they're at that level, then we're able to support them. If they're looking to study education and get a degree, so they've got something to fall back on, then we're able to help them as well. And I think for us, we're always enhancing our service offering. It's about adding more value to the client and helping them. So how can we help them prior to them going across to America, or prior to joining our program? And obviously the job don't stop there. When they get here and when we're working with them, how can we help them during that time? And then also afterwards as well, how can we help them once they've graduated or once they've left our program? And for us, it's about, looking at data, looking at the facts and figures, how much have they ran, what distance have they covered, what do they need to improve on. We do loads of different events in terms of combines, so sprint testing, 40-meter dashes, etc., just to kind of make sure that they're at the right level and the right ability to progress and do well. And as I mentioned, the professional opportunities that we have. So yeah, that's what I would say kind of sets us apart. And with us, it's all about developing what we offer to the client.
How do you work with these student athletes to ensure they are prepared both academically and athletically for success in the US college system?
Yeah, so I think we always say you're a student athlete So, your education commitments come first, and then, the athletic, the soccer side comes afterwards. So for us, we see everyone as a student athlete. When we're speaking to the player and we're speaking to the family, we always want to understand their academic background, so what have they achieved in high school. On top of that, we also provide online tutoring sessions as well. So for some universities in the States, you need to sit an SAT exam. So we have an online tutor that's able to support them and guide them and make sure they're achieving the right scores prior to them sitting that exam. So yeah, I think for us, education is always important. We make sure that they're well prepared and the expectations are set beforehand. And then in terms of athletically, we do a lot. We've got a team of experts, we've got a team of good coaches that work with the athlete and make sure that they're fully prepared before they go over. One thing we do is a preparation camp. So we do a residential camp, and it's a week full of 2 training sessions a day, workshops, gym sessions, swim sessions, nutritional advice, data analysis deliveries as well. So yeah, I think for us it's about making sure that academically they're fully capable of going over there and doing well, and athletically they're in the right shape to make sure they go over there and hit the ground running.
You guys have been doing a remarkable job, Junior. I commend you guys on that. What partnerships, though, have you guys developed with universities, with colleges, or professional clubs to help enhance the opportunities available for student athletes?
Yeah, so with us, we're impartial, so we don't work with specific universities. For us, it's about finding out what university is right for the player. So, do they want to be on the West Coast? Do they want to be on the East Coast? We look at the time difference, we look at the weather, etc. So it just really depends on the individual. But from doing this for over 10 years now, we've placed over 400 athletes in the US. We've placed athletes within 37 out of 50 states. So in terms of our partnerships with universities, we've got endless amount of partnerships at different universities, different locations across all the different divisions, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, junior college. And for us, it's always about developing our network. So we go to the States very often. We have campus visits, we meet with the coaches, we make sure we understand, what that area is like, what the coach is looking for, and making sure we fit the player within the right environment. And on top of that, the university coaches, they come over to the UK. We host loads of showcase events. They fly over here to watch our players live and recruit our players. So yeah, in terms of developing our network, is something that we're always doing, making sure that we've got a lot of connections in the US to be able to place our players over there.
Junior, what advice would you give to young athletes who want to pursue a soccer scholarship but may not meet the initial academic or athletic requirement?
Yeah, I would say, start the process as early as possible. If it's something that you see yourself doing in the future, try and get as much information as possible. So, start as early, connect with companies and organizations like Soccer Assist and Varsity 9. I think with us, it's always about educating the family and the player so they understand exactly what they're getting themselves into. What financial contributions do they need to make? What does the process consist of in terms of application, visa processes, health insurance, etc. So absorb as much information as possible. Another thing I would say is to be honest with your aims and ambitions. What are you trying to achieve? Are you looking to go to a big university where you might just be a number? Or are you looking to go to a university where you're going to be the main man or the main woman on the team? Because in the US there's different levels, so with your athletic ability and your academic level, what level are you aspiring to get to be able to impact the team as much as possible? And then on top of that, athletically, I'd say, work on your game, develop as much as possible, give yourself that time, because when you go over, to the States, for example, if you join our international program, you're going to be surrounded by players from all over the world, looking to do the same thing and do well. So, you know, make sure that you're fully prepared for that. And then, in terms of our international soccer program, it gives you that chance to be surrounded by top athletes and like-minded players. So when you're surrounded by those type of players, you're always going to develop, you're always going to do well.
Junior, how do you guys at Varsity 9, you know, how do you guys see the landscape of soccer scholarships and international recruitment evolving over the next 5 years?
Yeah, good question. I think from when I graduated in 2017 to now, you know, it's developed a lot. And I think in the next 5 years, it's going to develop even further. Millions are being invested into college sports year on year. Even now, you know, they've got the nil payments as well. So name, image and likeness. So college athletes are now able to be paid by organizations and brands. And then also, you know, international recruitment players travel all over the world to get an opportunity. And scouts, recruitment teams, professional clubs are always looking for talent, you know, because players might not get the exposure they deserve in their home country. So, yeah, I think over the next 5 years, it's going to develop even further. You're going to see a lot of hidden gems, they say, come onto the scene and do well. So, yeah, a lot's happening within this industry and within this space.
Lastly, before we go, what is the most rewarding part of your work in athletes secure scholarships and advance their education?
Funny you asked you that question. I got asked that question recently, and yeah, my answer hasn't changed. I think the main thing for myself is changing people's lives, you know, giving them the platform to fulfill their full potential, and knowing that I've played a small part in their journey.
Well, Junior, thank you so much for taking the time out to be on the GN Sports Show with us this evening.
It's been a pleasure having you here, Junior, and all your information and the knowledge of Varsity 9 and the great job you're all doing. Have a wonderful season and hope to speak to you soon. Cheers, mate.
Perfect. Now, thank you very much for having me, and I'm sure I'll see you on the island soon.
Yes, we know we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
And we'd just like to take a quick commercial break to thank the sponsors of the Youth Football League. We'll be right back. We would like to thank the sponsors of Generation Next, Fruta, Antigua Masonry Products, Kenneth A. Gomez Insurance Agency, Island Photo, and Francis Trading Agency.
And welcome back to the GN Sports Show, guys. Again, thank you guys for being here. Always fun, always hilarious, always intellectual. The original Dr. Rick. Dr. Rick, as usual, welcome. Welcome.
Often imitated, but
Never duplicated.
There you go. Thank you, Jason.
My pleasure.
Welcome
And
back
you.
to the show, Dr. Rick.
And you, who are you? I haven't seen you in a long time.
I
What's
know,
your name
unfortunately,
again?
Jonathan, unfortunately, I was so
Jonathan. Okay,
not
very
as
good.
pretty looking as the lady who was with you guys last week.
Ah,
of course.
yes. I do remember we had Nicole Moldovan, who was here from Monmouth University in New Jersey last week.
right.
And she's an occupational therapist who's doing research with us at AUA. And she's working on cognitive decline. We're trying to develop some new tests for testing for people's they're losing it a little
Right.
bit when we get older. And we're trying to figure out tests where we can identify that early so that we can do some interventions. But today we're going to go a step further. And we're going to talk about, at least I would like to talk about, I hope you would like to talk about too, inclusion. Because in occupational therapy, they gear what they do toward including people in sports, especially youth sports, who are handicapped.
Yep.
Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
Who can't compete. Now, I did a study about 25 years ago.
Oh, recently, man.
Well, I'm older than dirt. Published in the Journal of the National Medical Association. You can actually look it up online. And we found that kids with sickle cell disease were being left out. Does this sound familiar?
Wow. Yeah.
Right? They are being left out of sports and physical education.
Why do you think that is?
In the United States. This was 25 years ago, but it's still happening. And they were being left out because people didn't know what to do with them, and because they thought they could not compete with the other kids, and it wasn't fair.
Wow.
You see?
Let me just interrupt you for a second, Doc, because this kind of hits close to home, right? My son, the eldest, he has a sickle cell trait, right? But he is so athletic,
Yes.
so competitive, so energetic.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's to hear that, and for it to be put on a broad spectrum where people think that you have anything to do with sickle cell or we can't make you play cafe. Right. He's actually one of the roughest, most focused, most ambitious footballer on the team. Right. So it's really bad to be labeled something and to be, ostracized because of this label.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, people with sickle cell trait. So sickle cell disease comes from a gene that's the most lethal gene in the population of people of African descent.
Right.
A similar gene in white folks like Ricky Santos, we call them Caucasians, is the cystic fibrosis gene you probably heard of, right? And so if two carriers, people with the trait, like the sickle cell trait or the cystic fibrosis trait, if they have have children, there's a 25% chance with each pregnancy that the child is going to be have the disease, either cystic fibrosis or sickle cell.
Right.
Here in Antigua, we don't have to worry about cystic fibrosis because there's probably virtually none of it. Mm-hmm. But in the African population, you have sickle cell, and you're telling us about your son with sickle cell trait. So the people who are carriers don't get the disease. They don't have much in terms of adverse effects.
Simply, right.
Occasionally, I'll give you an interesting thing. The U.S. Army found that people with sickle cell trait, when they recruited them into the U.S. Army and they went up in airplanes and they became flyers like pilots, that very often their spleen would burst.
Wow.
Because of the sickle cell trait. But that's very unusual, right? And they have to go to very high altitude to make that happen. So people with sickle cell trait are pretty normal. And like you said, your son, he's a great athlete.
Yeah, he's
you would never know.
He's really, really over normal.
You would never. So we're talking about the people with the disease, where two carriers mated, and had a child and produced that 25% chance. They produced the sickle cell child.
But
now,
but I've read somewhere where, as again, I'm kind of talking from my personal experience. That the sickle cell trait or whatnot is passed down by the female, mostly. It's something that they get from the female. That's something that I read, because I do not have sickle cell or any traits or anything like that.
Right. No, a male or female can have the sickle cell trait.
Okay.
Yeah, to pass it on. No, that's not accurate. The most important thing that we want to discuss here is what to do with people who are affected. Mm-hmm. So I did this study about 25 years ago. We found schools in the United States, Washington, D.C. public schools, and we identified people with sickle cell disease, okay? And we found out that they were being left out of physical education. And we found out because nobody knew what to do with them, they thought they wouldn't compete, like I told you before. So what we did, we designed a study where we compared their athletic performance to able-bodied kids of the same age in the same class, and we matched that up, and we saw that it depends on the activity.
Right.
So the kids with sickle cell disease had trouble running a mile. long term, running and sports that require endurance, they couldn't compete. So, it's appropriate that they didn't participate. But when it came to sprints, when it came to short bursts of activity, shooting basketball and other sports like that, where it's just short bursts of activity, they were equal to their counterparts, to their normal counterparts. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we can design, that's where occupational therapy comes in. We can design programs for these kids so that they aren't left out.
Right.
Now let me tell you what happened just a few minutes ago in your green room here. And it was with your daughter, DJ Kavita, her name is. Am I right or wrong?
Yep, DJ Kavita.
And it was with her teammate, her football teammate, right?
Yeah.
Jordan, D-Y-N, J-O-R-D-Y-N. And I asked them about this because I knew we were going to talk about this. And I said, well, what is going on in your school? And here's what they told me. They said, there's a girl in their school in a wheelchair, and she gets left out of physical education.
Yeah.
And they feel bad for her. Think about that. They told me this. They said they feel bad for her, right? And they said, well, don't they do something for her? They said, no, she just sits there and watches everybody else play. And you can see, they said, you can see that she's sad about it.
Yeah.
And she's sad about it. And they think it's not fair. Okay? Let me tell you the idea I gave them. I said, how about this? Go to your principal and ask your principal if they couldn't design some sort of activity for her that she could participate in. I'm sure you can find something, and maybe that would be a good project for you guys.
Right. Yep.
To help her.
It will be.
And they got so excited. They thought I was a genius. And they're not wrong.
Yeah, they're not wrong at all.
Because you know why they were so surprised? Because when they looked at me, they saw somebody this ugly. They couldn't think. They thought that I couldn't. Like I also couldn't be smart. Yeah. So I said no, and I told them nobody could be as dumb as I look. So that's where. So we just had that conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Now listen to this, Jonathan. You're going to love this, man. There's something called the Special Olympics in the U.S. I know you know about it.
Yes.
You know about it too?
Yeah.
All right?
What do you mean you know I know about it?
Because
I know about it.
DJ Kavita told me she lived in New York.
Yeah, yes.
Right? So you're a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Kind of. Right?
Yes.
New Yorker out of Antigua.
Yes.
Got it? Okay, good. So, the Special Olympics is all over the world, and the United States is a big place for it. All right? In fact, it started in the United States with the Kennedy Foundation.
Okay.
President John F. Kennedy, the Kennedy family actually started the Special Olympics many years ago. And now it's all over the world. It's wonderful. Because why? It includes people.
Yeah.
It
Inclusion.
includes people. Inclusion. In other words, what kind of a nation do we want Antigua to be? We want to be a nation where we include.
Yeah.
Right? A nation that includes and thinks about all their population, I think is going to be a more successful nation.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what talents those people have that you're leaving out.
Exactly.
And that you're not developing what they might turn into.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's not only that alone. I'm sure if a lot of us, if we look at Special Olympics and stuff like that, there's so many, sports that some of these guys do. You can't do it. You able-bodied, have all your limbs, have everything, and there's some things they do you can't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's amazing that, and I'm sure without it being an immediate occupational therapy, interception, they had it in their mind. This disability or what have you is not going to stop me from becoming the best I can be.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's so inspiring. Like some of these people who have lost their legs and now they have the metal things, and they sprint
They're doing jogging and
much
running and
faster
stuff.
than
Absolutely.
me or you, or you know what I mean.
sprint, They play from the wheelchair. They
play
kick-
basketball.
They play basketball. they do
Football.
all-
Yeah.
It's an
They
amazing
go
thing.
in the water and
Yeah.
they play water polo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
all
true.
that
It's
kind
true.
of stuff. Even if they don't have legs. So the point is that we ought to be thinking about that. I think in this country, don't you think?
We should. We should.
Now I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't know. The International Olympics has come to the Caribbean. The first ever Caribbean Special Olympics
Wow.
was in Trinidad and Tobago, November 10th. Look it up. Go on, Google it. November 10th, 2024.
Wow.
And almost every island participated.
I'm Trinidadian, you know.
Oh, yes, I can tell. I can tell you. How did I know? I can tell you're a Trini because you have that rhythm.
You got that rhythm.
You have that Trini rhythm, don't you? And I was sad to say Antigua did not participate.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so we got to correct that.
Yeah, we have
Don't
to
you think
correct
we
that.
ought to correct
We
that?
need to.
we do.
So
We
what
need
do
to.
they do in the Special Olympics? It's amazing. Have you heard of bocce? It's a bowling.
Yep. Yeah.
They have beach bocce.
Whoa.
They have beach volleyball. They have a lot of beach sports.
And we
in the
have
Special
370
Olympics. Exactly.
beaches.
And we could be training. Plus, that would be opportunities for people to get involved in coaching.
Yeah.
Who want to get involved in coaching, and maybe they're not
Yeah.
able to coach the able-bodied kids, and they can help out with these kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that?
But I do agree
We ought to
wholeheartedly.
we
with
make
what
that
you
a
said.
project of maybe by next year that comes around, the next time they have it, we ought to be sending some participants.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should. I
does
think
that
we
sound?
should look into that, and you know, anybody who's looking at the show and
Yes.
has contacts or has any ability to help bring this to fruition, please call into the GN Sports Show, you know, send us a message, and let's see how we can join together and make this happen, you know?
So, Dr. Rick, just before we go, I know we were just talking about, what was it, sickle cell?
Yeah.
Yes.
In certain people. Are there any other diseases that one may carry that can cause them to be excluded from a sport?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, there are many kinds of asthma. Oh, that's a common one. Asthma. Kids grow up with very bad asthma, and their parents are afraid for them to participate.
Correct.
Well, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be playing basketball with a guy who's 6'9". He's one of our AUA students, and he played college basketball, Division I college basketball in Colorado, in the United States. He has asthma, right? And he has to take inhaler for it, you know, but it didn't stop him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So asthma is a very common one.
Yeah.
Very common, you know, because they have problems with the breathing when they're, you know, participating in
High impact
athletics.
sports and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Body, yeah.
So asthma, of course, all kinds of musculoskeletal diseases, like people who fracture their bones easily,
Easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
and anybody in a wheelchair. I don't know how many wheelchair kids do we have here.
I don't know, you know,
I mean,
to be
your
honest with
daughter
you.
told me they have one at their
Yeah,
school.
there's one at their school.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have. I'm sure we have a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, wheelchair assisted youths out there who, you know, now listening to it from Dr. Rick, we really, I'm starting to feel bad that they are not included in stuff, because you know what I mean. We feel bad when we don't have a disability. We feel bad about not being included.
Yes.
So, and that's like one-off thing.
Yes.
So imagine not being included the majority of your life.
Yeah.
Right? And parents, I know Dr. Rick, parents, please do not think your child is too disabled that they could be included into something.
Find something they can
Find
do.
something they can do and listen to what they
and
say.
work with them.
Yeah, work with them and see.
You be their coach.
I think that's something we should work towards.
Great.
I think the occupational therapists, I don't know if we have any in Antigua right now,
Yeah, no.
but if we don't, I think we all should try to be occupational therapists in the purpose of trying to get the minds right of parents and of youths or even adults who seems to think that they have this physical or mental disability, and to let you know, you're just like me. You're just like me. I'm just like you. It's just that we shape different.
Yeah.
Right? We shape different. We have different circumstances. But let's turn our circumstances into our successes. Right? So, Dr. Rick,
Well said. I couldn't have said it better.
I was feeling over your energy. Thank you so much, Dr. Rick. It's always a pleasure. I keep telling you all every time we start this segment, Dr. Rick and the information is always food. Always food. And we're hungry. So, until next week, GN Sports Show, Dr. Rick, we see you.
Peace out.
GN Sports Show. Interviews, insights, dreams taking flight. We show them how to handle the spotlight, preparing them for the journey ahead, building confidence, the words left unsaid. From the grassroots to the national scene, young athletes chasing every dream. In every game, there's a story to tell. GN Sports Show, we know them well. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show. Interviews where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show.